About 61 years ago, the African Union, or then called the Organization of African Union, did institute an all-Africa trade fair. That trade fair held either once or twice and did not go very far. But we still believe in its relevance to the transformation of our great continent. About 5 months ago, at the official opening of the third edition of the Intra-African Trade that held in Cairo last year, the chairman proclaimed Algeria as the host of the fourth edition. That decision to designate Algeria as the host of IATF 2025 was not a difficult one. Since the inaugural fair in 2018, the Algerian public and private sectors have been among the most faithful participants. Besides its advanced infrastructure to host the fair, the Algerian government has, unlike any other, shown a genuine understanding of the importance of this continental initiative. Your Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the world economy has steadily and progressively veered towards protectionism and new mercantilism, where the pursuit of self-interest at the cost of others has become the overriding preferred foreign policy of major world economies. Unfortunately, this has been at the expense of global cooperation under a multilateral system that has, in part, supported shared growth and prosperity, particularly among developing countries, for almost half a century. In such a fractured world, where every economic grouping has to fend for itself, Africa has no option but to fend for itself and to pursue self-reliance under a continental collaborative platform. The Intra-African Trade Fair opens alternate routes for African trade. It has become the platform for actualizing the African Continental Free Trade Agreements. It expands and deepens knowledge of the continent's trading environment. It enhances the industrial capacity of African economies. Ultimately, IATF has become an engine for accelerating combined trade and investment deals and business flows within the continent. The last 3 trade fairs have generated combined trade and investment deals of no less than $120 billion US. If you want to wonder what the $20 million represents, and let me also add that in particular in Cairo alone last year at the 3rd edition, deals of close to 43 actually to be exact, $43.8 billion were closed. So if you wonder what do these deals represent, if you're wondering, that means that African buyers found buyers in new markets across Africa. And that industries also found new sources of raw materials, investment, and capital goods. There were government-to-government deals that were concluded in critical sectors such as agriculture and agro-processing that have been forged. In fact, the Export Agriculture for Food Security Initiative that had 4 African governments involved was also consummated at that trade fair. African contractors won major projects with governments and other large companies. Let me even say even women in SMEs and women-led businesses found buyers, found markets elsewhere that they never imagined they would. There was a particular woman, a Ghanaian woman, first impressions, elite business she runs in Ghana. She was involved in displaying cashew nuts and dried foods as a small business, and she found buyers in Egypt, South Africa, Kenya, Zimbabwe, so much so that her profits within the period have grown to 65%. That's just a tip of the iceberg. Your Excellencies, apart from the trade exhibition, the IATF brings a new lease of life to the continent's culture and creative industry through its novel creative African Nexus. We also call it the CANEX program. It is a platform that showcases Africa's creative talents in music, film, sports, literature, fashion, arts and crafts, and also the recently introduced gastronomy and culinary arts. IATF will host a dry run this year as CANEX is a creative African Nexus pullout. It's a weekend event that will serve as a dry run for the main trade fair. It will hold in this country, in this city, probably in this very venue, between October 16th and 19th this year. IATF also showcases an automotive show. It's also an automotive forum, a trade which is probably the only automotive platform that supports the entire value chain in this continent. It also hosts a youth forum, a trade and investment forum, a youth entrepreneurship forum, and working with the African Union and the AFCDS Secretariat, as well as other partners, most of whom are here. We actually intend to make the 4th edition of this fair a resounding success for the benefit of Algeria and the rest of Africa. Algeria, being one of the more advanced economies on this continent with a strong industrial base, is in a strong position to benefit from hosting the trade fair. It has a unique opportunity to showcase its vast variety of industrial goods and other investment potential. The fair will boost tourism and other ancillary businesses. It will expand economic opportunities and open new trading partnerships between Algerian firms and the African counterparts. In the immediate, even for the local ecosystem, it is expected to attract about 35,000 visitors into Algeria at the period of the trade fair. That, again, will provide significant gains, windfall gains for your small businesses, for those in the hospitality, and even in the tourism ecosystem. The Marriott Group had to give us an award for what they experienced in Cairo last year. Your Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, ladies and gentlemen, we recognize that hosting a successful trade fair is not the responsibility of any individual institution or government. It is a shared responsibility that will require strong and dynamic partnerships among all stakeholders. That is why we have forged an unbreachable alliance with the African Union Commission, the AFCFTA Secretariat, and all the various other partner institutions, as part of our advisory council, working with them to host a trade fair. Above all, success will depend on the unwavering commitment and support from the government of the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria. I'm most confident that with the steadfast commitments your government has already shown, we are poised to deliver yet another successful event for the African people, but also specifically for Algerians. Permit me to thank His Excellency President Olusegun Obasanjo, the chairman of the IATF Advisory Council, his deputy, Mr. Jean-Louis Ekra, the Secretary General of this AFCFTA, His Excellency Mr. Wamkele Mene, the AU Commissioner for Economic Development, Trade, Tourism, Industry and Minerals, His Excellency Ambassador Alba Muchanga, as well as all the other partner institutions that we have, who have been the pillar on which we have built an enduring Pan-African trade instrument, the IATF. We thank you and your representatives for taking the time from your busy schedules to participate in this important signing ceremony. And as I conclude my remarks, I remind us that we have a lifetime opportunity to change the fortunes of our continent. We have available to us the tools and resources that we need. We must take it. This fourth edition, I beg your pardon, of the trade fair gives us another opportunity to continue to deepen the trade and investment ties among Africans and foster the attainment of our shared aspirations that are enshrined in the African Continental Free Trade Agreement and also in the Africa that we all want to see and desire. We call upon all African governments, the public sector, the private sector, organized business associations, organized industry groups to participate in IATF 2025 as exhibitors, as buyers, sponsors, delegates, visitors, speakers to the conferences as we work together to realize the vision of an integrated and prosperous Africa. We certainly most certainly look forward to a most memorable and probably the most successful trade fair in 2025